Okay, good, let's bring it in. Submission defenses. Theme for the week, random spots, whatever coaches want to work on. We're going to talk about one that comes up a lot, very basic thing that people get caught in and start to get in trouble with, though, a lot of times when they're doing the wrong things. And that's going to be getting into our arm bar from guard. So I got my guy, a couple of things that I want to understand that's happening. One is, if my arms are outside and I'm controlling his hips and his hips are centered and he can't spin, it's going to be very hard for him to get an arm bar. So one of the things that I got to start recognizing is my arm sitting in a position where he can get his hips spun around and now he's in good spot. So he goes and spins, and now this is going to start happening much quicker. So if I'm in better position, it's going to happen less, right? So we have that Mr. Miyagi theory of defense, which is your best defense is no be there. Right? We don't want to be in that spot and having that happen. But people are going to get to where they're going to get us off balance, they're going to move, and they're going to be starting to climb up. So how we deal with that when we recognize it. One is recognizing that that person's hips are going out, right? And I want to start addressing that. So first thing we're going to get here, I'm just going to leave my arms for him. He's going to put a foot on a hip. He's going to start to cut that angle. As he cuts that angle, as that starts to come up, all I'm going to do is step around and recover. He's going to go to the other side. Feel him starting to go around to that side. I start to go over there, and I'm just crowding in, recovering, and stepping my knee around and bringing his hip. See how that knee pinches that in? If he squirts out to that side, and I go like this, he's still over there. You see what I'm saying? Like, I need to get over, put that knee, shove it, and get him back square where that's hard for him to climb up and get that angle. Can I square up while the foot's on the hip?
Yeah.
I can?
Harder.
Why is it harder?
Because your motion's being blocked.
Because it's being blocked. But she can't armbar me until that leg comes off. So some of you guys are getting here, she's putting that foot on, she's starting to cut her angle, and she's leaving that foot, no, leave that foot right there. And then you're trying to get around. I can't get around this because I'm moving her. So if there's a spot, she starts to move, that leg comes off, and I'm covering. So there's some timing happening there. I gotta watch that. The other way is, she's gonna open up and just look to spin. Some people have that more dynamic, they're not gonna hit it in those steps. You hit this arm bar a lot like this. Nope, she's just gonna open, that's it right there. Go back. So I feel her opening, starting to come around, and I start coming back around and squaring that up again. Is there a lot of timing in this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is me recognizing and feeling as that angle goes. If I wait till that's over, that leg's gonna start coming over the head. We're gonna get in deeper on this. But as I feel though that hip squirting out, as soon as there's nothing blocking me, I'm chasing it to get re-square and make that angle for that arm bar hard to get. Does that make sense? So if that foot's still on your hip, start taking it off. We don't need to be in a super fast hurry to put this arm bar on. We can feed at a pace that he can read. Right, so I get here, I start to cover, and he's already starting to go. Start to go, he feels that coming off. See how he's spinning in as soon as that foot comes off? If I get here, go ahead and square up now. Square up. So he can't until I get ready to do this, and now he's doing that. Everybody see it? So he's got to be paying attention. We wait till that leg's over the head. Now we're into deeper defense. That arm bar just got in further. But up front, I'm just looking, hey, let's avoid that problem and re-square up, take away that angle. Everybody see what we're doing there? So that foot can be on the hip, foot can be on the ground sometimes, or they're just gonna open their hips. It's in here, and people are just gonna go and try and just and come up and over it. Right? If he doesn't square up to me, it'll end up looking like this. So he sees me starting to open, my hips start to come out, he starts to square that up, gets that in, pinches, drop that down. There it is. What happens if it stays up in the air? Put it back under. Now I could start using that motion to start hooking that leg. So that's gonna come around, re-square, get set. Let's go, 1, 2, 3.
Because I've done it. Oh, don't view us. I'm having a brain fart right now.
You got a leg over here, so you just lift your knee up. Exactly.
How many people think that it might happen that I might not recognize that spin in time? Everybody's hand should be up, maybe both. It's for sure gonna happen. If that wasn't the case, nobody would ever get armbar. we're gonna get caught not reading that first part. But if I'm paying attention, I know my arm's out of position. They may even grabbed it, pulled it over, and I'm like, whoop, 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 red alert, arm bar attack, get ready to cover. Like, what I don't want to do is not pay attention to where I'm at. If I'm understanding, hey, that's a serious threat. It's not the only threat, but it's one of the main ones. I'm putting a lot of defense on that. I'm getting ready to start covering that. Starting to run that piece because I can feel it starting to happen, right? So I got my guy here. This time he starts to get out on that side. He's got this arm. As that comes around, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna block this leg right here. This arm is gonna come in and I'm gonna chop right into the crook of his leg as that comes around. So he's coming around, I see that leg, I pry that and pull this arm out, spin, spin, spin. Come around, finish my pass. So again, this one's more timing. I missed enough to cover, but I saw enough to beat that leg coming inside. Does that make sense? So as he's cutting that angle, go slow motion. He's here, I see that coming around. As I see that, I'm going here, and as I'm taking that momentum before it's pushing into me, because is my arm stronger than his leg?
No.
Wait, don't answer that. Another person, most people, is your arm as strong as the leg? I'm teasing. Your leg's as strong as my arm, that was a joke. So as he comes around, if I wait till that leg is pressing in, it's gonna be hard to get undone. If I catch it coming around, that momentum goes with it and I can pry that out of the way and then finish up my pass. So again, we're growing in layers of recognition. I missed one layer, but I'm catching it before the leg comes over. Once the leg clamps, now again, we're in deeper and we got to deal with that. That's what we'll do next. But for this one, we're just gonna catch that. Leg's coming around, you see it going, I missed stepping around, boom, I come in, block, pull my arm out, finish my pass, go back, go to the other side, block, pass, go 2 left, 2 right, switch with your partner. Here we go, 1, 2, 3.
As soon as you bring this over. Yep. And we'll cover it.
Yeah, too far. I'm just gonna block that forearm. There it is. Now, 2 things. So what you're doing is you're going here and you're feeding this through and you got 2 arms through like this. Is this like an athletic good position? No. So, as that arm starts to come over, nice and slow, he starts to come over, he's breathing, he's relaxed. All I'm doing is this, and this one's shortening up. So it's hard for him to hold this when there's none of this is tight. So he comes over, he didn't even be locked on this arm, but I go here, now I'm ripping on this arm. I don't want us to go here. Right here, he's still got an arm bar.
Right.
If that other leg comes up, that arm's still in there, it's a potential piece there. So I'm blocking that, ripping, and now I can start passing. I can't even pass until I get this arm. I want to at least get that elbow out of that mix.
I was I got
Sorry about that. You're making me crazy. Let's bring it in.
What are you laughing at?
Rich following me around with the camera. I feel like I'm in a documentary.
With a boom mic? Is that a gyroscope? Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So we get a little further. This time I don't catch it in time. I get my arm in, but not enough to get momentum and block it. So 2 things that want to have happen now. As he starts to cut that angle, it starts to come around, it's a little too tight. I'm gonna feed this arm in, relax, open up your arms, your legs. Like I'm grabbing a rear naked choke right here. This is the arm he's arm barring, I wanna hide it in the crook of this arm. If I can, I like to sneak this in because it helps keep that pressure off my head from knocking me away and separating me from my arm. It won't be enough to clean it because I didn't catch it with that momentum. But it will help keep some of that pressure off my head. What he wants, even if he turns here and I grab here but I don't feed it inside, he's shoving my head away and sometimes that'll still break that through. Does that make sense? It buys me time, it slows it down, but if I got somebody powerful, they may power right through that if they're shoving my head away well enough. So this hand coming in, even though I didn't block it all the way down, helps get that person settled right there. So he comes around, I see that, I grab, I get here. Clamp that leg down on me. So I can't quite get rid of it. Go ahead and bring it down just a little bit. I know, yeah, so I can talk. So I'm right in here.
I just want to yell at me for back foot.
Nope, so I'm right in here. What I want to do is I want to roll him up and put this knee behind his butt right here. So now as he tries to extend, it's going to be very hard. I'm using my body weight, this hand's going, and now what I want to do is not rip and pull up. If I go to pull up and it gets loose, I'm going to armbar myself and feed that out deep. So I'm in here, I've got this hooked, is now I'm just going to wiggle till that elbow comes out. Once that elbow comes out, this is going to look the same. My head's going to spin, I'm going to come around and drop in into my crossbody position. So I missed getting it in deep, but I got it in a little bit, but I'm getting this now. So all of a sudden I feel he's bumped, he's grabbed this arm, I feel that I'm coming here. Here. This knee goes in tight to his body, not out wide where you can hook it and start sweeping. That flower sweep starts coming up. So I'm in right here, knee comes in tight, my other foot comes in and stacks him up. So now if he tries to extend, push me away, it's hard to. He can't get down flat, he's all balled up. Now I'm just gonna wiggle. What I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna lift and try and rip out of this. So all my weight stays down and I'm just wiggling until that elbow comes out. Head turns, turns. Finish my pass, get back on top. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3. So let's actually look at that next piece. So now I come in, he starts to spin, I start to see those hips go out, I grab it, I end up here, and all I'm gonna do is instead of being inside, like I got it, this might be tight to me. Where all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach up and grab it here. Now we've got two main ways that we're gonna hit this. The first one is just like what we did. I'm gonna roll them up, put my knee in close, and get back here, and now I'm just gonna make that wiggle. And I like this, it's very solid, but sometimes it turns into a little bit of a mess and somebody's strong. They're gonna start extending me. So what I wanna do is, and Rich is one of the best guys I ever rolled with at this, and that is about getting this angle on the elbow. If I can get this arm turned down, it's hard for him to extend it while I'm getting this and I'm creating a weak angle. The place where I make this weak angle is not with me moving like I do from a top side armbar he's doing to me, it's by pulling him down to me. So he swings into this, I see it coming, I grab and I get here. Start to roll him up and I may not even be wiggling out well here, he starts to extend and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this down here. Now even if he gets my arm and he starts to pull it, see how I can rotate a little bit? Go ahead, armbar. And now my elbow comes out a little bit, and again, I'm back into my pass. So by pulling that down and turning my arm like this, that hitchhiker type motion, where on the ground I would be hitting that, and I'd be going, be moving myself. Here I don't have that luxury, but because his hips are up, and I've got that hand on there, I can pull that down and create that angle with him. So first things first though, I see this, I've missed my timing to cover, I missed my timing to karate chop my way out of it, right? Now what do I need to do to make sure I'm buying time? Get that arm in that crook. That needs to come next. You need to be watching that and you need to be paying attention. If that arm gets caught sleeping, we're under attack, it's gonna be too late. You gotta be paying attention and watching that. So, he starts to come in, I feel him grab that arm, I'm already grabbing it. If I can, you see I'm wired, I wanna feed that in, but I get beat. So I'm here now. I get here, he starts to beat me and extend it, I pull it down, I rotate my elbow. If he doesn't be beat on that extension, I'll just get here, I'll roll him back up like we did, pull that arm out. So first we're gonna work pulling that arm out. Second, you're gonna get a guy and they're gonna be strong and they're gonna start to extend it right here. Now I'm gonna pull him down here. He's pulling that out, I rotate that thumb up towards that way, that elbow comes down, he can pull on this now hard. It's going to be very difficult to get into that finish. Does it make sense? So I'm going to pull his angle down, rotate my elbow away from it, so my arm is, he's trying to break it this way, not this way, where it does better. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so like I know, like that's like the 90%.
Hustle, have a seat, take a knee, come on in. Come on in, let's go. Let's go. Come on in nice and tight. Squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. Let's go. Come on in, take a seat, have a knee. Shh, there you go. So, somebody said, I'm going to give you a test. And if you just randomly guess, you'll pass the test enough times that it's worth your while early on. But as time goes on, the test is going to get harder and harder. And what you could just guess and get away with is going to have to get better by actually knowing. When would it be a good time to start studying? Would we want to wait till it gets really hard, or would it be better to start studying early and progress with it as it goes? Progress with it as it goes. Does that mean I'm going to have to slow down, look at things different, pay attention, go do some research, ask questions, work on it again? Because early on, the temptation to just go A, B, A, B, 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 A, B, 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 A, and they go, pass, you're good. And I'm like, woohoo, time to go play. Right? But eventually that goes to A, B, C, then A, B, C, D, and then A, B, C, D, E on my multiple choice. And then I have to do written answers. And all of a sudden, guessing becomes less and less likely. What does that have to do with how we roll?
There's a lot of options.
Early on, could I get out of a lot of stuff just by spazzing and guessing which way, and by being aggressive, I get out of it and I get a slight reward? The problem is, it's just a guess. And at the end of the day, guesses aren't repeatable. Right? So there's times where we act as if we're in a tournament, or it's a life and death situation on the street, or in a fight in the UFC. Somebody puts something on and we spaz to get out because we must win. And I know if I don't just guess, I'm probably not going to get it right. The difference is, I may not do as well on some of the early tests, but I'm going to do way better on the later tests, when they're more difficult and when they really count. So what I'm trying to say is, pay attention to how you roll. Sometimes we get into this mindset that winning is more important than learning, even though everybody will say, oh no, learning is far more important. But how we roll says something different. Because if learning was more important, we would watch what they're doing, work to get out with a good technique as best we understand, and if we got beat doing it that way, we'd go, that's all right. But we don't. We spaz out, and then if we get caught anyway, we do things like this. That didn't matter that I lost at all, I learned. Right? So I'm not saying don't go hard. I'm not saying don't. Who wants to win in here? You don't? Yeah, me too. Everybody does. The question is, do I want to win more over a longer period of time, or do I want to guess and win it now but lose later? So how you roll, how you understand the game, when you get stuck in spots and studying it, and instead of just going, rah, paying attention to what happens, taking those taps where it matters. And here, does it matter? Does anybody go home and post their wins on Facebook? I tapped out 3 people in class tonight. Nobody cares. Nobody does. What do we post about? How we did in the tournament. How we did in our fight. That's what we're training for. These are our teammates. It doesn't matter if you lose. Doesn't matter if you win. What matters is, did I get better? That's what we're striving for. And I get better by going a little slower and trying to get the right answer when I could guess and get out anyway some. But as the game progresses, that becomes less and less likely to work. Okay, let's bring it in. Hands high, Xtreme on 3. We go, 1, 2, 3, Xtreme! Nice work, everybody. G class next door.